Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to the preview for the 2024 Las Vegas Grand Prix. Oh yes, F1 is back and back for the first race of the final triple header of the season, which also happens to be made up of the final 3 races of the year. This season has flown by. It is also Max Verstappen's first chance to officially mathematically wrap up his 4th Drivers' World Championship title, so lots at stake in Vegas. As always, lots to get through in this preview, so let's just jump straight into it, starting with a look at the track and all the usual stats that follow. So last time out, F1 was in Brazil, where Max Verstappen delivered one hell of a comeback drive to take the win, but now it is on to Nevada for the 22nd round of this 24 race season. A lap of the Las Vegas Strip circuit is 6.201 kilometers long, which if you prefer is just over 3.85 miles, and is made up of 17 corners with 50 laps scheduled for Sundays, or if you're in Vegas, Saturday's race. And the race sat record is held by Oscar Piastri, who posted a 1:35.490 last year. This weekend, there will be 2 DRS zones in use to aid with overtaking. The first of those zones runs from turn 4 all the way to turn 5, and the second one is down the strip and ends just before turn 14, with the detection points for each zone just after turns 2 and 13 respectively. Now, naturally, passing will be tough because this is a street circuit, but as we saw last year, those zones helped a lot, and we did see quite a bit of overtaking into the first corner and into turn 14. And again, as we saw in 2023, turns 5 and 12 also offered up opportunities, although as George Russell and Max Verstappen found out, it can go wrong very quickly. And on the topic of last year, Max Verstappen took his 18th win of the season and was followed home by pole sitter Charles Leclerc, who snatched P2 at more or less the final corner, the final braking zone of the lap at least. And Sergio Perez ended up crossing the line in 3rd in what was actually a much better race than many predicted ahead of the weekend. Hopefully, everything crossed, we get more of the same this time around. And did you know that this weekend's Las Vegas Grand Prix will be the 3rd race to take place on a Saturday in 2024? And as well as being the 3rd race in the United States this season, it is also one of only 3 tracks on this year's calendar that Lewis Hamilton has never been able to win at. I'll tell you what, that's a lot of 3s. And did you also know that 3 is the number of dry tyre compounds available across a race weekend? Oh yes, you saw that coming a mile off, I'm sure. That is right, it is tyre talk time once again. The compounds available for this one then are, as they were last year, the softest in the Pirelli range, so they are the hard C3, the medium C4 and the soft C5. Now the big challenge this weekend will be getting temperature into the tyres and keeping it there, especially during qualifying, because it will be much colder compared to the temperatures we're used to seeing during the season. Pirelli actually saying it could drop as low as 10 degrees C air temp, with the track temperature being very similar. That obviously means that drivers will have to be very careful when trying to get heat into the tyres without overworking them, as well as trying to avoid locking up at the heavy braking points like, for example, turn 14. Low temperatures also result in less grip, which can increase graining, with all of that potentially causing tyres to wear more quickly. So we could be looking at a multi-stop race, as was the case last year, with the winning strategy in 2023 being a 2-stopper. Max Verstappen starting on the mediums, pitting on lap 16 for a set of the hards, and then again on lap 26 for another set of hards, although that was helped by a safety car period. Of course, a one-stop strategy is very possible, and it is also worth a mention that going back to the point around warm-up, the undercut shouldn't be all that powerful this weekend, and so the overcut, so running long, could well be the way to go if a one-stop is the plan. I mean, I'm hoping for a mix of both. That tends to give us some great races, doesn't it? Weather-wise, it should stay dry, but it will be cooler, as mentioned a few times now, and the latest forecast at time of recording, that's Wednesday afternoon if you're interested, is on screen now for you to have a look at. The final couple of things to note when it comes to strategy: the total pit lane loss time in 2023 was largely between 20 and 22 seconds. And with this being a street circuit, there is a high chance of a safety car, and every race here has featured at least one, but given we've only had one race at the Las Vegas Strip circuit, that's hardly an incredible or surprising stat. And your schedule for this one is an early one here in the UK and Europe, and a late night one in Vegas itself. Very much looking forward to the qualifying and race watch along streams from 5:30 AM. And yes, I did say race watch along. But anyway, more on that later. FP1 will get the weekend underway from 2:30 AM GMT on Friday, with FP2 later that morning at 6 AM. FP3 on Saturday starts at 2:30 a.m. with qualifying underway from 6 a.m. And it is lights out for the race on Sunday at 6 a.m. and once again that is in UK time. It's also worth a mention that as that graphic shows, those days are obviously different if you are in Vegas with FP1 and 2 on Thursday night, final practice and qualifying on Friday night and the race itself on Saturday night. Now, before I make some more, let's face it, awful predictions, let's have a quick run through a couple of talking points ahead of the weekend in Vegas. So first up, as I mentioned at the start, this weekend is Max Verstappen's first chance to seal his 4th Drivers' World Championship title. In short, if he finishes ahead of Lando Norris, he is the world champion again, and if Norris wants to keep his slim hopes alive for another week, he must outscore the Dutchman by 3 points or more. So if Max wins and Norris is second, it is game over. But if Norris wins and Max is second, I'm going to say fight, but only because that's the expression we use, and not because I think there is actually a fight. But the fight would still be on when F1 arrives in Qatar. If you're interested, though, here are the permutations in full. Oh, a lot of numbers here. If Verstappen finishes third, then Norris must be second or first if Verstappen sets the fastest lap. Fourth for Verstappen would mean Norris would need to finish third or second if Verstappen takes the bonus point for fastest lap. If Max finishes 5th, then Norris needs to be 4th with the fastest lap or 3rd without it. 6th for Verstappen means Norris would need to be 5th and set the fastest lap or P4. If the Dutchman is 7th, then the Brit has to finish 6th and set the fastest lap or 5th without it. If Verstappen crosses the line 8th, then Norris would need to finish 7th with the fastest lap or 6th. 9th for Max would leave Lando needing to finish 8th whilst also taking the point for fastest lap or finishing 7th place. And if Verstappen is 10th or fails to score, then Norris would have to be 9th with the bonus point for fastest lap or 8th without it. Oh, do you think Verstappen will wrap up the title this weekend? You can let me know down in the comments, but I'm going to say that he won't pull it off this weekend and will do it next week in Qatar. Moving on, and we have a few special liveries for the Vegas weekend and in some cases beyond. RB has unveiled a sparkling one-off glitter livery which I suspect will look pretty good out on track and under the lights. And you know, I cannot wait to read this bit of the blurb from the press release. Brace yourself. The look is inspired by the launch of the Cash App Visa glitter card, which was itself inspired by the idea of glitter fever. Yeah, me neither, which is apparently, quote, a joyful feeling you just can't shake with side effects including radical self-expression that is contagious and undeniable. Sure, whatever. My version of that is it's got glitter on it and some different shades of colour, but I suppose that's why I don't write press releases. Anyway, Sauber has revealed a new look too, with flames across the car in a tribute to Vegas, the flames symbolising the high-energy atmosphere of the city. The livery was developed with and from an idea by sponsor Stake and is apparently a symbol of the team's unwavering spirit. Alpine will run a striking pink livery this weekend in Las Vegas as well as in Qatar and the season finale at Abu Dhabi, and the new paint job is, as you'd expect, to celebrate title sponsor BWT. I know we've seen Alpine pink liveries before, but this one looks much better and based on the renders anyway, much bolder in my opinion. I really like this one. And Williams, who despite recent rumours will race in Vegas as they have repaired and rebuilt their cars following the disaster that was Brazil, sort of, kind of, almost have a different livery, but not really. The team will keep the yellow on the engine cover we've seen recently, but it will now feature branding from cybersecurity sponsor Keeper instead. Right then, time to make some predictions, and as always, please do not take these too seriously. They're just a little bit of fun, but if you do disagree with my picks, then you can let me know yours in the comments section down below. And last time, yikes again. Wrong on everything apart from Lando Norris on pole and Max Verstappen on the podium, but in the wrong place. And I've got to say, looking at that season score, it's a miracle I've picked up that many points, frankly. But anyway, this week is a tough one again. It is highly likely we'll see McLaren, Ferrari and Red Bull battling out at the front in some order, but the Scuderia could well be the team to watch. The circuit in Vegas shares some similar characteristics with Baku, although Baku uses a slightly more loaded downforce package due to the twisty Sector 2. But the point is, Ferrari were very strong in Azerbaijan, as well as in Vegas last season, to be fair, and so could well be the favourite here with the usual caveats that 1, this is Ferrari and so anything could happen, but also 2, it doesn't always work out that being good at one track means you'll be good at a similar one. That said, I will hop into my Ferrari bias mode, and go with a Charles Leclerc pole and win, and even go as far as to say he will lead every lap and set the fastest lap of the race to set up a thrilling final 2 races when it comes to the Constructors' Championship fight. I'll go with Lando Norris to take P2 and Max Verstappen P3. As I've said many times, when I'm not sure, I like to put 3 different teams on the podium. And of course, if that prediction were to come true, that would mean the driver's title wouldn't be decided this weekend. As ever though, and the way this season has gone, it could be a combination of any 3 from Red Bull, Ferrari and McLaren up there, and never write off Mercedes either. Now, rather than the best of the rest this week, I'm going to go with the top of the midfield. So that'll be the 5th best finishing team on Sunday, or in the race, let's put it that way. And I'll go with Haas. They've shown some great form lately, difficult Brazil aside, and so I do fancy them to get a good result in Vegas, but I'm very much looking forward to that fight for P6 in the standings, and that's a fight that could well go right down to the wire. A lot of money at stake there as well. As for some super quick separate boulder picks, let's go with points for Franco Colapinto, a top 5 finish for Sergio Perez, and a Q3 appearance for Valtteri Bottas for Sauber. Maybe they can get a point this weekend too. I would love to see Sauber score between now and the end of the season. That is it, though, for the Las Vegas Grand Prix preview. But don't forget, you can let me know your thoughts and your predictions ahead of the weekend in the comments section down below. And for the latest Formula 1 news and reaction, head on over to planetf1.com. Now, as already touched on, I will be live at 5:30 a.m. on Saturday with the qualifying watch-along, and then live again with the race watch-along on Sunday morning. And then I'll be live again with Stuart for the race reaction shortly after the race, obviously. In the meantime, though, if you did enjoy this one, then please do leave a like, as it really does help the channel in its never-ending fight with the YouTube algorithm, and consider subscribing so you don't miss any future videos or streams. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean, this has been the F1 Word, and until next time, goodbye.